Breece Hall out of Iowa State. 5'11", 217 pounds. He'll be right around. He's 20 years old now, but he'll be right around 21 when the season starts. So he's super young. And this is a guy over the last couple of years has been extremely productive. We saw him at the combine. Ran a 4.39 40-inch vertical, 126-inch broad jump. Yeah, Garrett, you had your hand up over there?
No, that was just the first. This is a guy. I'm just keeping it
counting. Oh, you're counting. Oh, yeah. I forgot. We did that way too much last year. So now, Breece Hall.
Can we get a counter, like a ding?
We should. Rambo, get on that. Counter for every, this is a guy or here's a guy.
Yeah. Breece Hall is in my eyes, a complete running back. And when I watch him play, I mean, if you just go in the Dynasty Nerds film room and you watch Breece Hall versus TCU, it's like you're watching somebody's highlight reel. That tape is some of the best tape I've ever seen for a running back in my entire 8 years of doing this for Dynasty Nerds. I mean, it's literally like he played Madden a million times, and he knew exactly where every single defender would be on the field, and just kind of like, do all throughout the field, and had no problem scoring touchdowns on big runs. This guy does it all. I mean, contact balance is there. He's very viable in the passing game. That speed is tremendous at a 4.39, but his vision is uncanny. This guy is silky smooth back there for Iowa State. For me, I don't know where you guys would rank him. I would take Breece Hall 1-1 last year. And that says a lot because you had Najee Harris, you got Javonte Williams, and you're like, yeah, dude, these are guys who were 1-1. Najee is a top 5 back last year. But guess who outproduced Najee Harris last year? It was Breece Hall. Breece Hall had 1,572 rushing yards. Was that last year? He had 1,000. Yeah, 572.
That was
rushing yards in
2020.
2020. 1,472. But at 1,572 led all FBS. This is a guy, when you watch him run, he's a threat to take it to the house every single time. This is a guy who has a nose for the end zone. I mean, he set an NCAA record with 24 straight games with a touchdown. 24 straight games. That's what Breece Hall did. And he's somebody that we saw his target share increase every single year there at Iowa State. When he left, Breece Hall had almost a 10% target share in 2021 for the Iowa State. This is a guy. Oh my God, I did it again.
That's 4.
Breece Hall.
That's 4.
Breece Hall is somebody who comes into the game and at any point is a threat. I mean, if you're looking for fantasy productions, he's going to do it in the passing game. He's going to do it between the tackles. He's going to do it outside the tackles. There's not a lot I saw here that I didn't like when I was trying to find negative things I didn't like about Breece Hall. I mean, you could say maybe some of that production became because that was their zone scheme there at Iowa State. Like, that's what they were designed to do, but that's fine. There's a lot of teams that design their game for certain runners, but they don't produce in a way that Breece Hall did. For me, this is easily, there's not a lot of times, the Saquon Barkley year, the Ezekiel Elliott year. This is one of the most clear-cut 1-1s I've ever seen, and even in a Superflex league where we preach all the time, the quarterback is the 1-1, the quarterback is 1-1. In a class where there's no quarterback set right now as the number one quarterback, whether it be Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, I have no problem taking Breece Hall here at 1-1, even in a Superflex draft. We'll see how the NFL draft plays out, but we've seen a lot of quarterback shuffling right now. And even right now, at this point, I mean, even Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield can't find jobs potentially. So there's not even a lot of quarterback opportunity out there. So to me, this is a clear-cut 1-1 in Breece Hall. I love him. He's one of the better prospects at running back that I've seen over the last 8 years. I'll put my stamp on that guy for approval. I love myself some Breece Hall, and he's easily my 1-1 this year.
Yeah, Rich. I mean, I think it's an easy sell for me. It was early on in the process. We were looking at guys like Isaiah Spiller and Breece Hall, kind of in the same kind of company. And real quickly, when I first took a look at these guys, Breece Hall jumped off the page at me as somebody that he was just smooth as silk. I loved his ability to make people miss in the hole, make people miss, after, you get through the hole, make people miss in the open field. He just has a very silky smooth, and I think that was the way we first described him. And the deeper I dug in, the more I liked him. So it was one of those cases where I think my first instinct on a player was dead on, and the more I watched him, the better I liked him. So it's a pleasant surprise when that happens, because sometimes it goes the opposite way. And we'll talk about another player, I think, in the other show where it did kind of go the other way. So it's nice when that happens, and I totally agree with you in the fact that he's a very clear-cut 1-1 for me at this point in the game. I know we have a long way to go with some of these wide receivers, and they'll probably end up having a few guys kind of pop out and be, hey, these guys are very safe. Hey, this guy's got a lot of upside. But Breece Hall, you said it earlier, he probably would have gone 1-1 or 1-2 in last year's draft. So I think in a class where it is deeper but probably weaker on the top, I think it's pretty easy to say that Breece Hall is the 1-1 at this point in the game anyway.
Yeah, we're 3 for 3 on that, and I have a feeling we're about to be 4 for 4 once Jared goes as well. But it was a little bit of the opposite for me, Matt. When I first started watching, and it was mostly just the highlights and just casual stuff, I was like, he's good, but I don't think he's amazing. And in fact, in the beginning, I had Isaiah Spiller a little bit higher. It wasn't until I really actually dug in and I specifically watched the All-22. This was a time where I felt like it was such an invaluable way to watch a player because that end zone view is just huge for being able to see their vision and how he combines things together. I did it in one of my prospect breakdowns of Breece Hall, but how he pairs his vision and his patience together is a thing of beauty, because a lot of guys can have vision but might not have the patience, or vice versa. But he has both together so well that you can see him press the line, but wait for that hole to open. And then as soon as it does, shoots through. And it's not like he's this crazy acceleration. It's not like it's Travis Etienne, but he's so decisive and he knows the right moment that he does it so beautifully in the second level. It's like poetry in motion. I tweeted out one day, watching Breece Hall is like listening to smooth jazz. It is just peaceful. It just flows. And that's Breece Hall. In my nerd score, I go through all of his stuff, and we basically a 6 at something is average. So everyone is for an NFL running back anyway. So almost every one of these running backs will have a couple things that are below average, and then maybe have one or two things that are at average and slightly above. I actually have every single attribute on his sheet, with the exception of one, has a 7 or higher. And most of those are 7.5s and 8s. And then 9s at vision and patience for him. The only one that I had average at 6 was pass blocking.
That was going to be the one thing.
That was the one thing. That was going to
be the one thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not even a lack of ability. Sometimes it just seems more of a lack of understanding on what his assignment is and things like
recognition was exactly what I wrote on there. He needs some work recognizing and picking up the blitzes at times.
Yep, and that's something that I think could easily be fixed. Better communication, better coaching staff can definitely be fixed at the next level. But at his size and his strength, it's not like, oh, I don't think he has the build or the ability to be able to do it. There's just a little bit of coaching there, but complete 3-down back, and there's not going to be many of them in the class. You could make an argument that he might be the only true 3-down back in the class. We'll talk about a couple guys later that could potentially be guys, but right now he's clear-cut 101.
Yeah, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. There's not too much to add. I mean, for me, he's clearly my RB1, and it's in his own tier. He's above Kenneth Walker. He's above Isaiah Spiller. It's Breece Hall. I think Rich said it best there, where in a year where the quarterbacks are kind of, we aren't sure who the top guy is. We aren't sure there's going to be one that goes in the top 10. I think even in a super flex league, Breece Hall is the 101. He's the safest prospect among all the different positions for fantasy football. So I have no problem taking him there. That's what I plan to do, at least at this point. Obviously, the draft could change some things, but I don't see that happening. He's got the size. He's a 3-down workhorse. Can catch the ball extremely well out of the backfield, and he has a nice arsenal of moves. Like, he has a great dead leg. He strings together moves, spin moves, juking people out. I mean, he's a freak show. And I was surprised that he ran a 4.39 at the combine. Well, it was a 4.39, right? Yeah, 4.39 at the combine, because I think on tape he doesn't look like that fast. So the combine was huge for him. In our nerd score, so you guys all know we do our nerd scores, and we'll be publishing that live on the site soon for Nerd Herd members. So make sure you guys subscribe. This is our composite film grade. And now that we've been doing this this is our 3rd year, we're able to look back at the previous classes and see where these guys stack up. And right now, Breece Hall is right up there with Javonte Williams, Jonathan Taylor, and J.K. Dobbins and Najee Harris. So this guy's a locked and loaded stud. RB1 potential at the next level. He's our RB5 combined in our nerd score. Yep.
And there's a rumor came out today from Matt Miller. He said there, in capital letters, a lot of smoke about Breece Hall going to the back end of round 1 this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Buffalo.
He has to go round 1. If he ends in Buffalo, that's a fantastic spot for him. He's so good that, and I'm sure the word is out, but the word on his class is still kind of like mediocre a little bit at best. This is an elite prospect, and now is the time to try to move up from 1-1. If you have 1-2, 1-3, I'm in a draft where I have 1-2, and I tried to move up to 1-1. I offered 1-2, 2-2, and a 23 second to move up to 1-1, and the guy's like, nah, I can't do that. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what else I could give you here to move up just to move up one spot. But
hey, you have 102 and I have 101, the Dynasty Nerds Invitational League, and I just want to tell you right now, you're not getting it.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. I'll take Malik Willis and be happy with it. It's okay.
It's fine.
So to me, it just, this is, when you watch players like Breece Hall, it gets exciting for what we do here, and it's so easy. Like, well, what else does he do well? It's literally everything he does well. I mean, the way that his explosiveness is just fantastic. I mean, his short area burst, fantastic. I mean, the way he moves laterally. And I said, Garrett, listen, that smooth jazz, the way like his patience is, he sets everything up. He sees the field so well. I mean, there's not many players when I go back and I have to watch film. Like, I'll go back and watch a game multiple times just to verify what my eyes were seeing. And then, I wasn't overly too excited about this player, right? Like, Breece Hall is that kind of player. Like, when I watched him, I had to go back and watch again to see if I wasn't like, oh, hey, am I just kicking off my rookie series and just so excited to watch rookies again? Like, that is, like, I'm overvaluing Breece Hall. And then when I got through the rest of the running backs, I'm like, no, I would take, and I love Najee. I like Travis Etienne, and I like Javonte Williams. I was like, I would have taken Breece Hall 1-1 last year. Like, he's up there to me, like I said, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott, LaDainian Tomlinson, like that kind of level of a prospect. So and that's why I don't want to oh, he's good and kind of beat around the bush. Like, to me, this is somebody that you go above and beyond now to go get, because once he comes out, go try and trade for Jonathan Taylor right now and see how much it costs. So Breece Hall, a clear cut 4-for-4, 1-1, one of the best dynasty running back prospects I've honestly ever seen on tape. I mean, I think he's that good. He is that good in my eyes.